what is the difference between keto and low carb. So I would recommend, if you are just starting out, and especially if you're starting out on your own, you're going to go more to a low carb approach and then work your way into a keto approach if that's something that you want to do. So a low carb approach, you would start by detoxing on sugar. Cut your sugar, the visible sugar initially. Then you can go into hidden sugars, and there's lots of it. Like, my biggest shock initially was, Mexican spices that you bought at the grocery store. You would not believe that how many of them, one, sugar is the first ingredient on it. When you're buying something that's a spice mix, why would that be? And if it's not the first ingredients, it's certainly high up on it. So basically, if you're going to start yourself off on the journey, look at your sugar, look at the white stuff that look at the soft drinks or pop, depending on where you live. And then you want to move, and juices, things like that. And then you want to look at the more hidden sugars, which are basically going to be in anything that is packaged. You need to start really reading your labels and doing that. Do that for a couple weeks in regards to sugar. Then start to look at your carbs, okay? Because in reality, carbs equal sugar in your body. They turn to sugar, okay? So they're not what you want to be having. You want to be looking at anything that's packaged. If you're eating real food, okay, during your adaptation and detox period, you're not going to do too much wrong. You're going to be in closer to a low carb thing. So low carb would mean you would include pumpkin and sweet potato, corn, that kind of scenario. There is a range of grams, but I don't think we really need to go into that, which is the definition of a low carb. But if you're just going to try and do it yourself, you would eat real food basically and cut out the carbs, cut out the white stuff, cut out potato, and stick to more leafy greens, your broccoli, your cauliflower. Some of you would keep carrot and corn, which is going to be higher in your carbs. And then you want to, if you want to move closer into a keto, you're increasing your healthy fats. So you're using avocado oil, olive oil, and real butter, basically, to do that. And you're leaving the fat on the protein source versus cutting it out. And you are then pulling back on the carbs from the vegetables. So you're going heavier into leafy greens versus, a lot, you would remove corn for the most part and remove carrots for the most part. So you're cutting back on the carbs of what's remaining in your eating, and you are filling your plate with green leaves. You can have some mushrooms, you can still have other vegetables, but kind of almost a cup a day of the other vegetables. You can have 2 to 3 cups of green leafy vegetables and then about a cup in combination of other things, and you want to be increasing your fat. So when you remove carbs, you need to almost replace it with something else, and so that's where the healthy fat is. And that's kind of the difference between keto and low carb. So most people in a keto would be aiming for about 20 grams, which basically is just eating real food, and eating real food on the lower carb end. So in the 90-day program, we go through a whole detox process, like I've just similarly explained. And then you go into how to build your keto plate. And then we go into all the other aspects that come into weight loss and weight gain. And then you go into habit change, and you have one-on-one coaching in regards to your habit change. So that's the most curated form of information, basically, on a philosophy that is for you to have a toolbox that is sustainable, and that it's a lifestyle, and you have all the tools you need to live that lifestyle, basically, and to form new habits and new belief systems. So then the next person, someone asked, do you need to count a macro? Do you need to get an app? What app do I use? Blah, blah, blah. What app do I recommend? Well, I don't use any apps. I don't believe, that's not my philosophy. So I'm teaching you to eat in a healthy manner and to use food as your medicine, basically, and use food as your fuel. So by doing that, I can't see there's very few times that I would reference somebody to an app. And I don't think did you enjoy counting points on Weight Watchers? Did you enjoy that process? Did it work for you? Short term, yeah, probably people had some losses, but is that how you want to be living your life, always counting in your head? That's stressful, right? And the body actually doesn't release weight when it's in a stress state. So I think that an app might work for a 20-something person, but I don't think that it's like an incentive or gonna work long-term for most other people. I teach a plate, how to build a healthy keto plate with real food on it. There's no counting. You start to listen to your body, you get a visual, and you go from there. And that is just an easy way. You don't need to stress about it. It's I think a much gentler approach to living your life and a long-term strategy, which this is all about for me in how I teach, to be a habit change, right? A lifestyle change, and that it fits in with your life. I don't think walking around, we're on our phones too much anyway, right? Like, it's starting to piss everybody off. So anyway, no, I don't recommend counting macros. I don't want people asking and posting their macros and saying, I'm not losing my weight and here's my macros. Like, first of all, your body actually doesn't know what a 24-hour period is. It doesn't know what's on that screen. It just doesn't really work that way. Somebody sold you an app.